Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we get to talk with Kit Burke and Sandra Sines from the Quincy Animal Shelter. Find out how things are going over there. First, though, we do check out the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it is beautiful. Sunshine, just a few clouds, 68 degrees. Another mild day today with highs in the lower 70s this afternoon. Not bad tonight, partly cloudy. Lows will drop off to about 50. And then we start to feel more like October over the weekends. Tomorrow, mix of clouds and sun, highs only in the lower 60s. And on Sunday, lots of sunshine, but it won't warm us up much, high of 62. Then the dark and cold days of autumn return. Monday, rain, and then some showers later. Highs Monday, barely 60 degrees. Looks like a rather unsettled week for most of next week, actually. So enjoy today, sunny and 68 in Quincy right now. In the news today, Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says the Quincy City Council needs to have patience with Fox Rock developers of Quincy with regards to their plans to redevelop the former Ross parking garage location in Quincy Center. This week, Ward 4 Councilor Brian Palmucci introduced resolutions calling on Fox Rock to provide an update on their plans for a new medical complex, hotel, and apartments.
One of the things that bothers me the most about this is that the city gave up our ownership rights to the medical center, the Quincy Medical Center land, on the promise that hospital services would come downtown, that the hospital services we're losing at Quincy Medical Center after Fox Rock purchased it, not because of them, but after they purchased it, that those same medical services would be replicated downtown. And now they're saying it'll be biotech space. They made a commitment also to build affordable housing. And now they're saying that the units will be market rate. The quote in the paper was, well, we'll go before the Affordable Housing Trust Committee to figure out what's going to be affordable. That's not what they promised us, this body. Everyone else who voted for this. I voted to give the land to them based on those representations about replication of medical services and affordable housing. And in fact, I had so little confidence in Fox Rock at that time, in their word, that I added the provision that said if they didn't build affordable housing on the Ross lot area, that they'd give the city the land back for $1. So the purpose of this resolution is I'd like to hear from them.
Palmucci also wants Fox Rock to explain if they plan on hiring local workers for the development and how they plan to keep the development safe during construction. The mayor says Fox Rock is shifting plans for a medical complex over to a plan to develop a life sciences center combined with medical offices. Fox Rock is expected to appear before the planning board next month on their proposal. Palmucci's resolutions did pass unanimously. The issue will be discussed by the City Council's downtown and oversight committees. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch wants to amend the city's zoning regulations to prevent large developments from being built on small tracts of land. The mayor has proposed an update to the code to give the community an increased ability to regulate the size of development on larger lots, or if larger lots are accumulated or split to create multiple lots.
It's the first step in making some changes going forward to deal with the aggressive nature of development right now. As I said, I believe most of it's good. The development along the tracks and the business districts and so forth have been excellent. I think there's been some real blights that have been taken down in areas and replaced with some condominiums or townhouses. But I also get the apprehension of people living in neighborhoods about the concern encroachment on those neighborhoods, whether it's within the neighborhood and the edge of the neighborhood. So there's going to be a series of amendments we're going to be submitting to the City Council for their consideration, review, and hopefully action in the end.
Mayor says the change strikes a balance to foster growth while maintaining the strength of neighborhoods. The City Council's Ordinance Committee will review Koch's proposal. Quincy Ward 6 City Councilor Bill Harris wants the new mayor of Boston to know that Quincy remains committed to opposing any plans to reconstruct the Long Island Bridge. This week, Harris introduced a resolution reaffirming the partnership the city has with the Native American Intertribal Committee on Deer Island, asking for an environmental impact review of the proposed new bridge.
Folks say, why are we fighting this in other areas of the city? And they don't realize that if this ever happens, remember, Boston declared it an economic opportunity zone. They're going to develop it. One of the candidates has already said that they're for the bridge, and that person is, I don't want to even go there. I think that we extend the olive branch and hope that they will work in partnership with the Native American councils, the city of Quincy, and ourselves. Thank you.
Harris's resolution was approved unanimously. He withdrew another resolution demanding that the state repair some streetlights along Quincy Shore Drive. He says after 6 months of requests, that work is finally underway. 3 men have been charged with forcing their way into a Quincy apartment last weekend and attacking the residents inside. Police say the men broke into the Berkeley Street residence early last Sunday morning, threatened the men inside with a knife, tied up one man and stripped him naked, then stole some electronics, jewelry, and drugs from the apartment. The victims fought back using pepper spray. Police did quickly arrest all 3 suspects after stopping their car on the McGrath Highway. 28-year-old Bernardino Gonzalez, 19-year-old Carlos Denelson, both of Dorchester, and 35-year-old Sidney Delgado Chantre of Cambridge are all charged with armed home invasion, assault, and kidnapping. The victims were not seriously hurt. A Braintree man charged with breaking into a Quincy gas station early today and stealing over $4,000 in cash. Police say 59-year-old Daniel Parma smashed in a window at the Franklin Street gas station in Quincy Center. Parma allegedly broke the window at about midnight, then fled, and then came back at about 2 a.m., entered the broken window and stole the money. Officers arrested Parma nearby after they say they observed him with cuts to his arm. He faces breaking and entering charges in Quincy District Courts. Coming up, we sit down with Kit Burke and Sandra Sines of the Quincy Animal Shelter. That's next. Welcome back. Happy to welcome back in person here to the studio Kit Burke and Sandra Sines from the Quincy Animal Shelter for an update on how things are going over on Broad Street and their plans for the future. Ladies, welcome. Welcome. Great to see you both.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's nice in person. Here we go.
Sure is.
Usually, Kit, I was looking at you with your little phone, and Sandra, you were on your iPad, I think, the past year and a half or so. So it's great to be back in person.
It is.
How are things going, Kit, at the shelter?
It's been very busy.
Yeah.
We have had, there was a lot of talk about if shelters were going to start to have a big influx of surrendered animals and whatnot post-COVID, or
right.
Not that we're post, but and we have had a fair amount of cats in particular be surrendered to us, but it's not really clear if it was related to COVID.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say it wasn't, but I can't say it was. So we've been busy over there. And we lost some volunteers just post-COVID for a host of reasons,
Okay.
Host of reasons.
Just be a little clear. You didn't lose them.
Oh, no.
They just don't volunteer
They're still
anymore.
with us,
Okay.
just not at QAS.
We have to be careful how we word things these days.
It's a good call out to make sure.
Are you open to the public at the shelter?
No.
Oh, okay.
We had planned to open at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
In fact, we had one day that it was pretty much by appointment, but we did have people in. And then numbers started to tick back up. And, we're dealing with all volunteers. I can't make them do anything.
Yep.
And even if they were staff members, if someone's not comfortable, they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
And you have to respect that.
Yeah.
So I think we're hopeful that if not by the end of the year, that's certainly into, next year.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a closed space. Your volunteers are probably on the older side, right? Some of them.
Yeah,
might
there's
have health
no air
issues.
exchange in that building.
Right.
So,
yeah.
From a.
It's a big metal can, essentially.
Right. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. And we have continued to enforce a mask requirement in the building.
Okay.
if people don't have them, we have them available
Okay.
and sanitize and all that.
Yep.
But it's really just for everyone's best interest, and the volunteers certainly see it. So
Sure. There was concern about pandemic pets. Folks, during the height of the pandemic, everybody wanted a pet, a dog or a cat or a puppy or what have
you want to speak to that, or do you?
Yeah, have you?
I mean, that was definitely the case. Everybody was pretty much adopting everything, cats, dogs, literally flying off the shelves. A lot more pet owners. I can see it in my own neighborhood. Everyone's got a dog.
Everybody's out walking
And-
their pet, right? Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, the good news is most people will keep their pets.
Okay.
Most people are committed to them for the rest of their lives, but everyone's lives changed so much in the last year and a half. One minute you're working from home, you have tons of time, and now you're getting called back to the office. So we have not experienced it in any great numbers, but from what we hear, there are other shelters who have had people saying, you know what, I don't have the time for this, or maybe now I don't have the money
Yes.
that I
Yeah.
thought I might have, so that they are relinquishing their animals back to shelters, which
Really?
is really, really unfortunate for everybody, because we believe that pet ownership shouldn't be an impulse purchase. You should think about it. You should make sure you have the time and the resources. And
You said it. It's a commitment.
right,
Yeah.
it can be a commitment for 15, even 20 years
Right.
if you're really lucky. So, but like I said, thankfully we have not seen
Okay.
anything really significant. What we have seen is the adoption rates slowing down a bit, because people are returning back to some kind of normal, and they're not running out to get lots of pets. So,
Okay.
but it hasn't really impacted us significantly.
Okay.
So that's good. One thing that we have, and Kit's been a really big part of this, and some of our other volunteers, is we're trying to help people get through transitional times. So there are people who might want to have to give up their pet because their pet is sick, or because maybe they have to move, or they just don't have enough money right now. So Kit has been helping people because it's not just about surrendering animals and adopting them out. There's a lot of other things that we do at the shelter that I'm sure the public isn't totally aware of. But,
Well, let's make them aware of it, kid.
hooking people up with low-cost spay-neuter.
Okay.
You know, helping them get food during a difficult time. Helping them find low-cost veterinary care.
Okay.
We've had people who, we might just counsel them through a difficult decision, and maybe they do decide to give up the animal, or maybe we help them figure out a way to keep it,
Okay.
maybe with another family member. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff in the middle that we've done, not just recently, but over the past 22 years.
Yeah.
So
One place that I don't think any of us really thought about how the whole pandemic pets thing would affect us is it has made getting veterinary appointments so hard.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I don't have the exact numbers, but
Okay.
I was well over 1 million pets added to the population since the beginning of COVID.
In the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Veterinary, there's not enough vets.
Sure.
There's been a recurring shortage of some brands of food. I'm sure that the average person, if they grab their food from the grocery store or even something like a Petco or Pet Supplies Plus, I mean, there have been big stretches that the shelves are empty.
It's part of the
very-
supply chain problem, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for us, really, how it has affected QAS is that the veterinarians that we were always able to partner with, they haven't had as many spare slots because they have, they're full price
They're
clients.
regular
That's,
customers, yeah, yeah.
and we certainly understand that. So we've had to look at other alternatives. There's a low-cost clinic that opened in Dorchester, but then that means we have to do all the transport for that. So it's, there's procedures that we've had to wait like, okay, so we have a cat that had a bad mouth, needed a dental, all right? So we decide we're going to do it, but we don't want to warehouse the animals in the interim. And it was 6 or 7 weeks before we could get this animal in. So, and I think that the public is experiencing that as well.
Yeah. Probably trying to get regular appointments, longer wait times than normal. Yeah.
There's a big wait.
It may open up opportunities for new veterinarians, though, in the future. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If there's a need for it, sure.
I mean, even we're very fortunate in this area that we have on the one side we have VCA in South Weymouth, which is a 365-day, 24-hour-a-day hospital, and then we have Angel Memorial in Boston, and I mean they're state-of-the-art facilities. But both of those groups actually shut down to certain types of like overnight emergency care. So if you've got those two guys shutting down, it's putting
There's a trickle
everybody in a
effect.
squeeze.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, sure. Interesting. What is the current population at the Quincy Animal Shelter?
We're probably at, we're going to include in the building and in Foster.
Oh, Foster, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the building, we are probably at about 20 cats and right now just 2 dogs in the building.
Okay.
We have another 3 or 4 dogs that are out in Foster, and our Foster number is about 30. So all things considered, so we have kittens, which is very late in the year to have, and we have some animals that medical needs or hospice or whatever, but I mean we still are responsible for them,
Of course,
but they're
yeah.
not under the same
Under
roof
the roof.
with us.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Speaking of the roof, we can't have you both in here and not talk about the plans for a new Quincy Animal Shelter. I asked the mayor actually about it earlier this week. He's hopeful to go before the city council this winter to request funding to begin construction, hopefully next spring. Sandra, is that going to work with the shelter's plans?
Well, I mean, I guess it's going to have to.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, we are super excited about the brand new shelter that we're hopefully going to get in, I think they're saying now 2023.
Okay.
This has been on the books since 2015,
Yeah.
I guess. So, I mean, we're very excited. Obviously, we're disappointed about some of the delays that have happened, but we're very, very excited. We've seen the plans. They're absolutely amazing compared to what we have been working with for the last 22 years. The part that we still don't know too much about is the relocation, and that's the thing that we're probably more imminently concerned with, is that 56 Broad Street is no longer going to exist once they start working on the public safety complex. So we're not exactly sure where we're going yet. So we are waiting to hear from the city what those exact details will be. The good news is we have been in communication with the city over the last couple of weeks, and they've been sharing, the timeline with us and all of that. So it's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, that is the biggest hurdle, is an interim location, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't just rent out an office building somewhere for an animal shelter. You
Right,
need-
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think, Kit and I have been kind of working through this process with the different members of the city, and that's really, I think, one thing that was underestimated. I mean, we have dogs and cats, and we need ventilation and space. And not only that, we're so used to 56 Broad Street. We have volunteers who go out, at different times of the day and in the evening, walking dogs all over that area, and we know what's safe and we know what isn't safe.
Yep.
And now that's a big part of the interim location is, is it accessible to our dog walkers? Is it safe? Is there a lot of land around the location? And also, obviously, the inside needs to be something that can be sanitary for animals, and that's been a big challenge to find that location.
Yeah, it's someplace the public can access to it, hopefully
Right.
when you reopen, to
Right.
continue your in-person adoptions. So there's a lot to consider.
Right, and it sounds like we'll be there for a minimum of a year, if not 18 months.
In the interim
Right.
location,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, as Sandra said, there was an underestimation of the challenge involved. I mean, cats, quite frankly, because of the caging and how they're up off the ground, they could go almost anywhere. But you can't move dog kennels that have to be disinfected and, all of that. And as part of our relocation, it's also relocating the city's animal control officers.
Right, sure, yep.
They need a place to call home in transition as well. So, I mean, I think that the city's taking it seriously. I think that when all of this conversation started back in 2015, there was an expectation from all of us, including, the city, that we would be in position in the new place before the public safety complex ever started.
Yes, yep.
For whatever reasons, and there were some, very legitimate land concerns and whatnot that threw things, off, threw the timing off, but now we're all kind of jammed up. So, here comes the interim move. I mean, obviously, we would have preferred to not. It's an undertaking, You
would like to just go from where you are to your new home, right?
Right.
Ideally.
Given a choice.
Yeah.
But, the city's really heard a lot about, what we think some of our needs are, and then in working with the canine unit and animal control, and we appreciate their willingness to hear, what will make a better shelter for the city of Quincy.
Yeah. The plan is still, though, at up off Quarry Street, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Across from the new dog park.
Yeah, if you go up that hill, it's
Yep.
kind of a windy
It is,
hill.
yeah.
There's a section that's cleared on the right. Right? That's
Yes.
Yep, just
there.
before you get to the dog park parking lot. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so that's where you will
So-
be eventually.
That's where we'll be.
Very good. Well, even the plans for the public safety complex are delayed. So, I mean, nobody could predict a global pandemic when
Right.
all
Exactly.
this first
You know?
started. So,
Right.
And
yeah.
and the staggering increase in the cost of supply,
That too,
building
yes.
materials and all that. I
Sure.
mean, it's been a lot.
Yes, but you're still there, and
Yes,
you're still
we are.
serving the public. And are there, Sandra, any kind of events coming up for the shelter this year that folks should know about?
Well, I'd just like to mention we just had a very successful event a couple of weeks ago, the Bow Wow Brunch.
The Bow Wow
very
Brunch.
first one at Blue at Marina Bay.
Uh-huh.
Thanks to Chris Hendrickson and her staff. It was a great first event since our 20th anniversary in 2019. So we had a nice turnout. We had a lot of super friendly dogs hanging out and great raffle prizes.
Nice.
So that was really fun. So thanks to her and all of her staff. She's been a supporter of ours since the very beginning. So
great.
we really appreciate it. But as far as live events, nothing
Okay.
imminent. It's really hard to plan ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Right now. So
The future is uncertain, as they say.
right.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that in 2022 we'll
Okay.
definitely put a couple of things on the books and get out there again. But
Speaking
our
of
calendar-
2022, yes.
our calendar is
Yes.
a wonderful holiday gift idea.
Yes.
That we are rolling out shortly, and it's just a celebration of all of our adopted animals that.
And there it is.
It,
For sale already, right?
Not yet.
Oh,
no.
not yet. Oh, okay.
Actually, the way that this was handled was that people were encouraged to submit pictures of their animals.
Yep.
There was an entry fee.
Oh,
It was
okay.
$10.
Yep,
I think it was
$10.
$10. And what the committee committed to was that there would be 12 animals selected for each month,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
But because they know that everyone wants to be included, they have taken the other entrants and they formed the collage either on the front cover or on the back. So everyone's animal that was submitted will be
Nice.
there.
Okay.
It's going to be $20.
Okay.
People can order it online. If people want it shipped, they want us to mail it to them, then it will be $22, and that will just cover the postage.
Okay.
They're hoping to take pre-sale orders probably within the next couple of weeks, and the
great.
intention is to have it printed in our hands, just right around Thanksgiving so that people can get them.
Okay.
I'm sure, check our website, our
Yes.
Facebook page for up-to-date information. We will arrange to have some to sell at the shelter.
Okay.
And there may be folks that want to pre-order, but they don't want it mailed to them. They want to come and pick
Come
them
pick it
up.
up.
So, we'll do everything we can to accommodate that. But
Okay.
the way that the animals were selected was basically went out to our supporters that they voted.
Okay. All right.
So-
So it's a very democratic process.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So
You should go to your website, certainly, and
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
more information about that.
QuincyAnimalShelter.org.
Yep. And find out about the swag that Sandra's wearing, too.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. We still have QAS
Yes.
wear for sale.
We got to go. Yeah, time's up, but thank you so much. Really
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
us as
Pleasure.
always.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
And congratulations on your 25th anniversary.
Oh,
as
thank you
well,
very much.
and
Yes.
For all of your support
Our pleasure.
over the years.
We're happy to help.
Thank you.
Just enough time to look at that weather forecast for you. Enjoy today. It's going to be gorgeous, sunny in the low 70s. Really not bad this weekend, just a little cooler. It is the end of October, actually. Daytime highs in the lower 60s. Look out for some cool rain here on Monday. Thanks again, Kit Burke and Sandra
Thanks
Sines
for having us.
Thank
You're
you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching Monday here in the program. Ron Yacobucci from Quincy's Workforce Development Department. Have a great weekend.